Good morning, everyone. Jim Laird joining you live from Diriomo, Nicaragua. Give me a quick second here to go start this on Instagram. All right, we are now live on Instagram. Good day to you. If you're listening to this on a podcast, thank you. If you're just listening to the audio, this is going to be a quick one because I have a busy day with Dr. Stillman today. In a half an hour, we will do our webinar that we do every week, Thursday at 10 a.m. Today we're talking about the relationship between magnesium and vitamin D and how it relates to cardiovascular disease, which I know is a topic a lot of people really like. If you want to get in on these weekly topics, next week we're going to be talking about the like Ozempic and things like that, the GLP-1 agonists. Or I believe I said that correctly. We're going to be talking about that trend next week. The reason we do these webinars sort of off, on StreamYard that are private is because if you haven't noticed, you can very easily get censored, or, we've had all sorts of stuff censored. You don't have to say anything that crazy anymore. They've gotten so sensitive that they can take your videos away very quickly. So that's another reason to be on the email list, because we could be deplatformed at any time. So if you're on the email list, you're going to know where we are. I know all my stuff is backed up on Odyssey. So if I ever disappear, you can always go there. But that's why you want to be on the email list. And then we've really dialed our emailing back. We're only emailing really twice a week. And just really straightforward, to the point. Here's the link for the webinar on Thursday. Here's the link for live on Monday. And just keeping it really simple. So the cold, hard truth. Well, I guess I should tell you, after our weekly webinar, Dr. Stillman and I are doing a live Q&A in our Optimum Wellness membership right after that, which you can join, support us, help us, since we don't really have sponsors. We don't kind of go that direction. We don't want to be on here trying to sell you something every second. So we'd rather just have you sponsor us, and you can get on the Q&As and get on some of the other things we have in the Optimal Wellness membership, and it's $1 a day. So we'd appreciate your support. So get in on that. You get 2 Q&As, one with Dr. Stillman and myself, one on my own. We've got a bunch of different. That's where all these Thursday recordings go, is in the Optimal Wellness membership. And thank you for the like. So the cold hard truth. The cold hard truth is, it's kind of human nature kind of really like wait to the last minute or to suffer. For me, especially, I didn't make any major changes in my life or in my health until I was like at my wit's end, until I had serious health consequences. I didn't make any changes, and most people are like that. Part of the reason most people are like that is just kind of how we work. We usually just, kind of kick the can down the road, kind of like the government. And then we only really make a change when things get so bad that it threatens our life, or we're just completely miserable. And why are there more people in this situation today? And honestly, we could get into the by design aspect of it. I think that's becoming a pretty harsh reality for most people, are waking up and realizing there's entities behind the scenes that are kind of setting things up that don't put our best interests on the forefront, so to speak. Okay. So we've got this world where we're told, don't go out in the sun. The sun's bad for you. You have this comfortable life where you don't really have to do much. Everything's pretty much done for you. You've been told partake in pleasure. It's very easy to partake in pleasure where you don't have to actually work for it. So you get dopamine for free, essentially, which leads to a feeling of lack of purpose, combined with, eating horribly non-nutritionist food, an excess of basically empty calories. the government is basically sponsoring, or what's the word I'm looking for? The government is essentially propping up the processed food industry by subsidizing. Thank you. They're subsidizing. That's the word I was looking for. Subsidizing the foods that are essentially making you sick. That's why if you look at a highly processed, like a Snickers bar or a Twinkie or something along those lines, it's cheaper than a carrot or the same price. Something that just grows in the ground costs more than a Snickers bar. So this is a really interesting dichotomy. The cool thing is, though, is once you've suffered and you've kind of like paid the price and you've made some changes, usually like now I've had two major health scares that really forced me to change my lifestyle. Now I can look at myself and be like, I'm not going in a good place. I'm making some mistakes. I need to dial that back. Most people are able to do that better, but some people can't. Part of the issue is people are not offered legitimate, they're not educated, or there's so much information, but they go to their doctor offers them a pill instead of talking to them about improving their sleep. Or if they do tell them to improve their sleep, they don't really tell them how. Like, they don't talk about the screens, they don't talk about getting outside. Um, or they talk to them about improving their diet, and the recommendations they give is basically, the standard American diet, which is not great. So the system is not set up to help you as an individual. You have to help yourself, and then you have to find sources of information to help you. And that's where the whole thing comes down to. Don't worry about what everyone else is doing. Take care of yourself first. Make sure you're healthy. Lead by example. Who would have thought in the year 2024 that you'd be considered a radical if you believed in having a family, if you believed in the difference between men and women? You're considered I'm considered a radical because I think traditional family roles and values are to be coveted and valued. That doesn't mean I don't think people have the right to live the way they want to live. I definitely believe that. I'm a libertarian, but we have definitely kind of made that look like it's something that's terribly bad. Um, we live in a world where a man can punch a woman in the face in sports, and we are totally fine with it. We're okay in a world where children are allowed to change their gender, but they can't get a tattoo. So this is a really crazy world we live in. And so you have to stay grounded. You have to stay focused. You have to really be able to sit back in a world where it's basically designed to draw you into the screen, to draw you into emotions, to draw you into all these things and numb you. And basically, you just spend your entire life numbing yourself, whether it was with porn or doom scrolling or empty calories and food, basically just medicating yourself. And then you end up getting sick, and then you basically end up chasing symptoms. So you got this problem, and you take this cream or you take this pill, you don't change your lifestyle, and then you just keep chasing issues. So if you're one of these people that are in a really bad place, or if you're just somebody who's like, I'm not really that sick, but you can kind of see what's going on around you. One, the most important thing that you can do to protect yourself from the insanity that's happening right now is, one, be as healthy as possible and start looking at the world as an observation exercise where you're observing and not getting drawn into things. You can watch. That's super, super important. Don't let the technology own you or manage you. Use the phone, use the computer like I do for a means to an end. For like, I use the online ability to work online to be able to live anywhere I want in the world and be able to go anywhere I want in the world, to go where I'm treated best, to live where my money goes further. Um, and I do the best I can to manage that. I get the phone off at night. I get it away. I do all my work here outside, which is better than sitting in my house and getting blasted by this light. This light is the screen's pretty intense today, but that kind of offsets that. And then I make sure I have people in my life that I can talk to about this stuff and I can relate to. And then I just don't really I try not to watch the mainstream media that much. And if I do, it's more of an observation and it turns into, wow, these people are really have an agenda. And there's a ton and ton of propaganda going on right now. You look at what's happening in England right now, it's just absolutely nuts. But the key to getting yourself out of a bad place, whether if you're in a bad place because you're medicating yourself with uh, with food or pornography or whatever it is, the key to getting yourself in a better place is to improve your health overall. And the key to do that is one, getting outside in the mornings, particularly seeing the sunset, fixing your circadian rhythm. I think your circadian clock, your circadian rhythm is probably one of the most important things that you can do to correct your health. And I think that one of the reasons people are struggling today is most people's circadian rhythm is absolutely trashed because they never go outside. Majority of Americans spend 97% of their day indoors and never go out in the sun. When they do go out in the sun, they look like they're going into like a nuclear reactor. They've got like, either tons of sunscreen and hats and sunglasses and they're covering themselves up. So they don't ever get, that message that your body needs for hormone production, for immune function, for all these different things. And then making sure you're getting a lot of protein. There's a reason why there's a war on animal protein because it makes you strong and smart. that's that's it. I mean, that's pretty simple. And then making sure you're drinking high quality water. There's so many chemicals and garbage and fluoride in the water. Fluoride has been shown to lower your intelligence levels, so you want to get away from that. And then getting the lights off at night. Why do they have no windows in the Vegas casinos? I've heard Jack Cruz talk about this. Why they do that? Why is there no sunlight, no windows in casinos? Why do you have all these bright lights and then they're feeding you drinks? Right? It's really pretty gross. It's to get you to do stuff that you normally wouldn't do. So, you know, if you're staring at the TV late at night and it's affecting your sleep, as soon as you're sleep deprived, you're much easier to manipulate. You're much easier to control. You become a complacent, compliant consumer. And then make sure you have community connection. One of the things I think that's really hurt people today is the structure of the family unit, and then also pulling people away from in-person reaction. I have to be careful with this because I'm in a foreign country where I don't speak the language. I'm getting better. I don't know that many people. I've got some friends here and there that I've made. So I have to make sure I get social connection. Luckily, part of my job is me interacting with people on the computer. That isn't the same as in-person interaction, but it helps. But we've been drawn into a screen. We're being drawn into this virtual reality world, which I don't think really gives our soul any comfort. It's very soulless, right? You're almost a machine. So you want to make sure you have in-person relations and in-person interaction. So there's few simple thoughts for you. If you are in a bad place, if you're at wit's end and you need to change, start small. It doesn't take much. You don't have to be overwhelmed, one step at a time. And if you're not in a bad place, just try to be more of an observer so you don't get sucked into some of these things that are basically being put out there to basically control and manipulate you, essentially. And so there's a few thoughts. I am gonna get off of here, do a little breathing exercise, calm myself down a little bit before I get on my call with Dr. Stillman. I got 2 calls in a row. I got the the webinar at it's 10 Eastern. You have to be on our email list to get on that. So get on the email list so you get it next week. Next week we're talking about GLP-1 agonists, Ozempic, tirzepatide, all that good stuff. And then after that, we got the Q&A for our Optimal Wellness membership. And you have to be in the Optimal Wellness membership to get that. So that's $29 a day. You can go over to stillmanwellness.com and get in on that if you'd like to join up with that. If you want to try it out, I'll give you this. You can use all caps freedom. You get the first month at 50% off. All caps freedom. Get the first month at 50% off. You can cancel it anytime. It's a subscription. So look forward to seeing you on that call if you want to join us there for our Q&A. And we will see you again tomorrow. I'm getting on a roll here. If you have any questions for me, you can email me at jimlaird@stillmanmd.com, or you can leave a comment below on YouTube. That would really help. Please like and share this. Obviously, the algorithm does not like my worldview. So it's not going to get pushed out like some other things would. So have yourself a great day. Don't forget to get outside. Super important. And be present, be in the moment, be an observer.